Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Easy Pod, the place where we make learning English simple, natural, and fun. I'm Emily.
And I'm John. We're so happy to have you with us today.
Today's episode is one that almost everyone will need at some point in their life: how to order food at a restaurant in English.
Exactly. Eating out is such a big part of life. Whether you're traveling to an English-speaking country, living abroad, or just practicing your English locally, knowing the right words and phrases at a restaurant is incredibly useful.
And let's be honest, restaurants can sometimes feel a little stressful if you're not confident in English. There are menus with unfamiliar words, waiters asking questions quickly, and maybe even cultural differences in how you order.
But don't worry. Today, Emily and I are going to guide you step by step through a complete restaurant experience. We'll start with making a reservation, then arriving at the restaurant, reading the menu, ordering food and drinks, asking for special requests, and finally paying the bill.
Along the way, we'll explain all the most common words and phrases you'll hear. You'll learn what a reservation means, how to use the word appetizer, the difference between bill and check, and even polite ways to ask for something.
And, like always on English Easy Pod, we won't just give you a boring vocabulary list. Instead, we'll weave the words into a natural conversation so you can hear how they're really used.
So, if you've ever felt nervous about ordering food in English, stay with us. By the end of this episode, you'll feel much more confident.
All right, Emily, shall we start our restaurant journey?
Let's do it.
Let's begin at the very start, making a reservation. This is when you call ahead or book online to save a table at a restaurant.
Exactly. In English, you'll often hear, "I'd like to make a reservation for 2 at 7 p.m." The word reservation means you're asking the restaurant to hold a table for you at a certain time.
Some people confuse reservation with booking. Both are correct, but in American English, reservation is more common for restaurants. Booking is more common for hotels or tickets.
Yes, and sometimes if the restaurant is casual, you don't need a reservation. But in popular or fancy places, it's almost always necessary.
And when you arrive, the host or hostess might ask, "Do you have a reservation?" That's a common question at the entrance.
If you don't have one, you can say, "No. Do you have a table available for 2 people?" The phrase table for 2 or table for 4 is very common.
So already, just at the door, we're using words like reservation, table, host, and available.
And notice how polite the language is. In restaurants, it's always better to sound polite.
After the host confirms your reservation, they'll lead you to your table.
Right. And they might ask, "Would you like to sit inside or outside?" Or, "Do you prefer a booth or a table?"
Good point. Let's explain that word, booth. A booth is a type of seating where you have benches, usually against the wall with a table in between. It feels a little more private than a regular table with chairs.
Yes, and many Americans love booths because they're cozy. Once you sit down, the server, that's the general word for waiter or waitress, will usually bring you a menu.
The menu is the list of all the food and drinks available, and sometimes there are several menus: a main menu, a drinks menu, maybe even a dessert menu.
And don't forget the specials. These are dishes that aren't on the regular menu, often prepared for just that day. The server might say, "Our specials today are grilled salmon and mushroom risotto."
That's a great word to remember. Specials. It means limited, often seasonal, and sometimes cheaper or unique. So at this point, you're seated, you've got your menu, and you're starting to look through it.
Menus can sometimes feel overwhelming, especially in big restaurants. But most menus follow a structure. They usually start with appetizers, then main courses, and finally desserts.
Yes, the word appetizer means small dishes you eat before the main meal. In the UK, they often say starter.
Examples include soup, salad, or bread with butter.
Then you move to the main course, also called the entree in American English. This is the largest and most important part of the meal. It could be steak, pasta, chicken, or fish.
After that comes dessert, the sweet part at the end, like cake, ice cream, or pie.
And don't forget about beverages. That word means drinks, water, soda, juice, coffee, tea, or alcohol.
On menus, you'll also see sides. These are smaller dishes that come with the main meal, like fries, vegetables, or rice.
Sometimes menus show combos or set meals, especially in casual places. That means you get a main dish, plus a drink, and maybe a side for one price.
That's right. And sometimes menus have a section called Kids Menu, smaller portions and simpler food for children.
So now we've introduced words like appetizer, main course, dessert, beverage, side, combo, and kids menu. These are extremely common in restaurants.
After you've looked at the menu, the server will come back and ask, "Are you ready to order?"
That phrase is important. It means to tell the restaurant what food you want.
If you're not ready, you can politely say, "Could we have a few more minutes, please?"
But if you are ready, you might say, "Yes, I'll have the grilled chicken with mashed potatoes."
Notice the phrase, "I'll have." That's the most natural way to order food in English. You don't need to say, "I want." Saying, "I'll have" sounds more polite.
Another polite phrase is, "Could I please get the pasta primavera?" Or, "I'd like the salmon, please."
And if you're ordering drinks, you might say, "I'll have a glass of water," or "Could I get an iced tea?"
Sometimes the server will ask you questions like, "How would you like your steak cooked?" That means you need to choose between rare, medium, or well done.
Or they might ask, "Would you like fries or a salad with that?" That's when you choose your side. These little questions are very common, and they're part of the ordering process.
Now, let's talk about special requests, because this is something that makes learners nervous.
Yes. For example, if you have allergies, you might say, "I'm allergic to peanuts. Could you make sure there are no peanuts in my meal?"
That's very important vocabulary: allergic and allergy.
Or if you want something a little different, you can say, "Could I have the burger without onions?"
Another useful phrase is, "Could you put the dressing on the side?" That means you don't want the sauce on your salad. You want it in a small cup on the side.
Yes, Americans often ask for things on the side. It's very common.
And if you don't eat meat, you might ask, "Do you have any vegetarian options?"
Or, "Is this dish vegan?" Those words, vegetarian and vegan, are very common now in restaurants.
So don't be afraid to ask. Servers are used to these questions.
After ordering, the server brings your food and you start eating. During the meal, you might still need some vocabulary.
For example, if you want more water, you can say, "Excuse me, could I have some more water, please?"
Or if you drop your fork, you can ask, "Could I get another fork?"
Notice how we always use polite phrases like "could I" or "may I." It's part of good manners in English-speaking restaurants.
Exactly. Another situation, sometimes the server will come and ask, "How is everything?" That's their way of checking if you're happy with the food.
A simple answer is, "Everything is great, thank you."
If there's a problem, you can politely say, "Actually, this isn't what I ordered." Or, "Excuse me, my soup is cold. Could you please warm it up?"
That's a very useful phrase. This isn't what I ordered. It's direct, but still polite.
So during the meal, it's mostly about small requests or answering the server's questions.
After the main course, the server might ask, "Would you like to see the dessert menu?"
And if you want dessert, you say, "Yes, please. Could I see the dessert menu?"
Common desserts include cake, pie, ice cream, and pudding.
Sometimes people don't want dessert, but they want coffee or tea. It's polite to just say, "No dessert for me, thank you, but I'll have a coffee."
And don't forget that in many restaurants, especially in the US, servers will ask if you want a refill on your drink. That means they'll bring more soda, water, or coffee without charging extra.
Yes, the word refill is a great one to remember.
Finally, it's time to pay. In American English, we usually say check, while in British English, they say bill.
So you can say, "Could we get the check, please?" or "Could we have the bill, please?" Both are correct.
The server will bring a small folder with the check inside. You look at it and then pay with cash or card.
In the US, it's common to leave a tip, usually 15 to 20% of the total. In other countries, tipping rules are different.
That's a cultural detail that's good to know.
After you pay, the server might say, "Thank you, have a great evening." And you can reply, "Thank you, the food was delicious."
And that's the end of the restaurant journey.
So today, we walked step by step through a full restaurant experience in English.
From making a reservation to ordering appetizers, main courses, and desserts, to asking for special requests, to paying the bill, we covered it all.
And we introduced so many useful words: reservation, booth, menu, appetizer, entree, dessert, beverage, side, special, refill, check, tip, and more.
Remember, the key is not just memorizing these words, but imagining yourself in a real restaurant, hearing the server ask you questions, and practicing your responses.
The more you practice, the more natural it will feel.
Thanks for joining us today on English EasyPod.
We hope this episode helps you feel more confident the next time you eat out in English.
Until next time, happy learning and enjoy your meal.